is Daniel Caycedo with Colorado MMA News, and today I'm joined by Micah Haas. Micah, thank you very much for joining me today.
Thank you, my friend. Good to talk to you again.
Here we are, about 2 weeks out, a little less than that, from your next fight, January 30th for Sparta. So how you feeling right now? How's camp been going, and how's the body feeling?
Camp's great, revitalized, going into a new year, you get those new wants, new goals and stuff like that. So just talking with my team, talking with my promoters and stuff like that, just kind of building out the year and how it's going to go planned. And obviously those plans want to stay intact if the wins keep coming, but feeling great, man, feeling fresh. I just got back from seeing my family, seeing my mom for the first time in like over a year, meeting my brother's baby child for the first time. And that kind of just gave me this like extra motivation going in this fight camp, just want to put on for them and stuff.
That's great. That's great. Yeah. And I mean, that brings up a good point, mentioning not being able to see your mom for a year or so. How have you navigated this COVID stuff with training and keeping steady and consistent for a fight camp?
Yeah, man. Like COVID's been a blessing for me, more or less. The first like 4 months when we were like out of our gyms and like 100% quarantine, that wasn't the best. Not fighting it's the best, but now that the promotions are back open and I'm back in the gym, like this is perfect for me. I moved to Colorado, like I've talked about, like 3 years ago with the 100% purpose of focusing purely on my career and getting rid of all and any type of distractions. And that's basically what COVID did. Closed everything down, basically said, Micah, you can hang out with your significant other and the people that are important to you, and you can train. And that's all I do, man. I train like 3 hours a day, every day. Good recovery, good dieting, good sleep. Like I train like a world champ. Like I don't take days off. I don't party. I don't drink. I don't do any of those things that, some amateurs and even some pros out here are doing.
Absolutely. No, I love it. And what has training looked like? You mentioned 3 hours a day, but what does that look like? You're training with Genesis Fight Team in Arvada. You're preparing for Oscar Hererra from Factory X, so another local gym, a well-rounded gym like yours. What has fight camp looked like for you?
So like one of the best things about Genesis Training Academy that kind of separates us from these other great gyms, Factory X, amazing gym, high elevation, amazing gym. They got a lot of guys. They got a lot of amateurs. They got a lot of pros. They got a lot of big names. They got a lot of stuff. Our coach, Jacob Ramos, he turns some people away, and he purposely gives it a small gym mentality to make sure that we get our time. I'm sure my opponents get one-on-one time with their coaches and are getting great work with great teammates, but every single guy in my room is a killer. There's not one soft round in the room. Every single round you got to be, smart or you're going to get hurt. We take care of each other, but, we also make sure each other are keeping on our tips and toes. But yeah, so training's usually not 10 a.m. to 12 o'clock workouts. Those are our pro private classes. And then any type of we do jiu-jitsu and then usually some type of core training. Outside of that, I'm going to go back in the gym later that night to do some type of kickboxing, drill classing, or just soft tech sparring or something like that. If I'm working that day or whatever it may be, then I'm usually on my bicycle. I live in the Front Ranges, so I have beautiful hills right outside my house. So I'm usually doing 10 to 15 miles on my bike a day to go with that too, especially leading up in this camp.
Hell yeah. Awesome, man. I mean, yeah, it sounds like you're certainly taking a professional's approach to it, like you said. And it's paid off so far in your career. I mean, you're 2-0, 2 TKO wins, both in the second round. So, just long enough to feel it out, find your range, and then put them away. So how do you envision this fight going?
I'm not going in there with any things I must do or have to do. The only things I really care about, win or lose, are that I perform, I put on a show for a crowd, and I make my community, my coach, my family proud.
Awesome.
I think he's seasoned. He's got 14 fights. This will be his 15th fight, so he's seasoned. So I'm hoping that he's got good cage control. He's got good awareness. I'm hoping that he's got the understanding to steal rounds or things like that. Again, I don't want easy fights. I want the toughest fights I can get as quickly as possible through this short process of this year that we have. I have a lot of goals we're playing out. I'm not foreseeing past the current situations in front of me, but we have a lot of goals, and they're big goals and they're lofty goals. And with that, I can't be fighting guys that are going to be no names. I think Oscar comes from a great gym. He has to be working out with some of the best 125 pounders in the world because a lot of them are coming out of Factory X. So I'm thinking that this kid's going to be tough. He can probably throw a heavy punch. He can probably take some heavy punches. I'm sure he's got great ground game working with Brandon Royval and all those guys. So we took this fight knowing that he's going to be tough. We took the last fight knowing that Henry, the guy fought last, was going to be super tough. I don't think he got to showcase how good he was because what I got to do. But I put a lot of really, really heavy hands on that kid that other people in other rooms I've been working with aren't taking. So I don't know if Oscar is going to be the same. I don't know if he's going to be in it as much or what, but I'm going to take this kid. I haven't seen any of his fights. I aren't watching his fights. Some people are talking to me. I let my coach do all the watching the tape and stuff like that. I just do me and show up. I hope he's tough as hell. I hope we go, into the third round, and I hope someone gets a TKO finish and make it look good. So,
yeah, no, that's great insight and great perspective. And like you said, I mean, he comes from a top gym, training with top guys just like yourself. So it's cool hearing that you want to take on the best around and really challenge yourself. So what does that look like? You mentioned Coach Jacob Ramos, your head coach, but who are your main, your primary training partners over there at Genesis?
Yeah, so I mean, I'm a big 25er man, and with that, it's a good thing and a bad thing. It's a good thing where when you're working with guys around your size, you're usually the bigger dude, but it also means that you're working with guys that are a lot bigger than you. So on a typical Tuesday, Friday, sparring days, hard sparring days, I'm going with guys like Kyle Broadwater, who's a 145 pro. He's an absolute killer. Archie Hogan, who everyone knows, 170, heavy-handed guy with an amazing wrestling pedigree. A guy that no one knows yet because he just hasn't taken his first fight. A kid named Juan. He's he actually is probably very similar to Oscar. He's super scrappy, high pace, output really well, really great on the ground, really, just hard to control his hips. Besides that, Gerald Scott, again, like me and Gerald Scott go at least 2 rounds a week, and trying to survive a round with one of the best 155 pros is intense. But we slug it, and I have my moments. He definitely has his moments. But I've taken it and I've thrown it back on him. So when you're training with guys that are knocking dudes out at 145, 155, 170, and you're taking the punches and making competitive, I'm not saying I'm winning these rounds. I'm not going to talk about what happens in a room or anything like that. But definitely, being competitive gives you a huge type of just, sense of like calmness when you're fighting 25ers and 35ers and stuff like that. So not saying I don't have, that good fear going against these guys in a fight. We're wearing, 4-ounce gloves. It's a lot different than when you're in the room. Sure. But again, that confidence you get from that with those guys, it just makes you, feel like you can take anyone's punch and throw it back even harder.
Yeah. So who's going to be in your corner for this fight then?
Obviously Jacob Ramos. Most likely Andres, which is our jiu-jitsu coach, will be in there as well. I don't know who will be my third, or if they're even giving us 3. I believe they're actually only giving us 2, just because of quarantine and everything like that. It may just be Jake Ramos. We have a lot of guys fighting that week and the week after that are going to be getting prepared and stuff like that. Again, the great thing about my room is it's a room of veterans too. All of us are like, even though like Archie's only been in the sport for 1.5 years, 2 years, we're all veterans of combat sports. We all pick up off each other, learn off of each other. I listen to the crowd. I could hear some of my teammates in the crowd talking to me about some of my setups and stuff like that in my last fight. So I consider those people in my corner as well. But, it could just be just Jake. So we'll see going into that.
Cool. And so, again, 2-0 going into this fight, 2 TKOs, a big matchup here with Oscar Hererra on January 30th for Sparta. So how do you want the fight to go? If it goes perfectly for you, what does that fight look like?
Not to give too much away, and I don't really care about giving too much away because it's like you're gonna see it anyways. If it doesn't matter if you prepare for it or not. My last fight went legitimately exactly as we planned. We knew the kid was gonna be super tough. It was gonna take a lot to put him away, which is what we wanted because we wanted to showcase, more than just a Superman punch or more than just like a heavy body kick or anything like that. So I wanted to show that, one, I could stand, two, that I could mix up everything from integrating my wrestling into my striking and vice versa. The commentators are talking about how Henry was scrappy and could get up quickly. That wasn't the case. I was letting him up. The first round, when I did finally actually shoot for a takedown, I took him down, I took his back, and I controlled him hardly. After that, I was like, I just want to show that if you make a single mistake in your footwork, you're going to get taken down. But I also want to show that my stand-up is legit. To this fight, I just want to show you a little bit of even more. I would like the fight to go a little bit further in, just get more mat time, get my comfortability level even more. But yeah, I definitely will put the hands on him. So, and that's definitely the goal, is to put my hands on him.
Nice. I look forward to it. And it was a beautiful Superman punch you did land in that last fight to knock him down there and pretty much finish it off. But like you mentioned, I mean, it was a well-rounded showing on your part. You took him down at will. You let him back up. You struck with him. You were clearly edging it out on the feet as well as on the ground. So, you know, like I said, it was a well-rounded showing, and I look forward to this next fight. So, again, I know you mentioned not looking past this fight. What do you envision for this year, and what's next after this?
So, you know, being at the gym I'm at, being with the guys I'm in with the room, I'm sure it's going to be a tough fight. I'm not going to take anything away from my opponent, but I know that I'm having tougher scraps in my room than what I'm going to get as far as opponents. And it's next year. So watching some of my teammates and how their development is going, talking to my coach, and now one of my management, I'm now with, real quick, had the Mollywop sports guy that's taking care of me now. Steve Rose, he's absolutely amazing. I've only been with him for like a week and a half, and we're already setting up an amazing future for each other. So I think the goal is, honestly, I don't think I have too many amateur fights. I don't see the point of doing it. My progression's happening in the room, although it's happening in the fights as well. The room's going to carry over. So we're thinking about taking this fight. Oscar's got a name to him. He's got, you know, a pretty decent record, and he's got a lot of fights. So if I can put this kid away and do it in good fashion, we're most likely going to take a fight in March for a belt, maybe in Nebraska, maybe with Sparta. I don't know. We want to keep our options open. After that, I should have, you know, the attention that I want and the ranking next to my name that I want. So when I can go pro, if it's after that fight, I can get, you know, a good promotion calling me, wanting me instead of vice versa. So quick story would probably be maybe 2, 3 maximum, no doubt maximum 4 more amateur fights before, you know, we sign that pro contracts.
Awesome. I love the vision, man. I love it. Yeah, and you're putting in the work, right? So you know, might as well get paid for what you're doing.
Right.
Well, best of luck, best of skill in this fight coming up. And how can people watch the fight, give you credit for any purchase they make, and follow you online?
Yeah, so tickets are selling out super quick. I believe general admission already has sold out.
Oh,
wow. SpartaSE.com /fight line tickets is where you can get your pay-per-view and your VIP tickets. VIP tickets are still available. If you are purchasing either tickets or pay-per-view, make sure you put my last name, capitalized Haas, Haas, in your promo code. That's going to take care of your boy. Appreciate that. Besides that, also look me up, SuperJew_MMA for my Instagram, also on Facebook, YouTube as well. Try to build this community up as, you know, we try to chase some things out. I just want to say I appreciate my sponsors, my financial supporters, Sham Boogie, Fight to Live, Myers Farming in Maryland, and the list goes on. And we're adding more every day. And obviously, big ups to my coach, Jacob Ramos, one of the best in the biz, Genesis MMA, Genesis Training Academy. If you guys want to come and find a gym that's going to take care of you, respect your needs and your wishes, and also make sure you're not taking bad licks and making sure you're getting the fights healthy and getting the attention you want, we are the gym to see. And you can already see that happening with what's going on in the last year. We got plans to go undefeated this year, so watch.
Yo, that's good hype. That's good hype. Give him a follow. Go buy some tickets. Buy the pay-per-view. HAAS. Follow him online.
There will be blood. There will be blood.
There will be blood. That's right.
Hopefully I bleed too, but both of us might be bleeding. But hopefully I bleed a little bit. But he's definitely gonna be bleeding.
Hell yeah! So don't miss it. January 30th, Sparta. Micah Haas versus Oscar Hererra.